Welcome back to Fur and Feather Outdoors, guys. If you're new to the channel, we are going to be doing a little food plot series this summer and a bunch of other stuff, but that's my main concern right now. It's March 1st today, so today we are getting ready to make our Cultipacker. Been wanting to make a Cultipacker for a little while, been planning it out, how I'm going to design it and everything, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's really easy, especially if you're wanting to do your own food plots. It's not that expensive if you do it in certain ways. It can be, but it's either way, it's still going to be much cheaper than going out and buying a Cultipacker. And it should last. Maybe not as long, but it's going to last. Let's get into it. So I went to the local metal store and got 6 foot of 1 inch round rod, I think is what they call it, and this is going to be what the bearings roll on the outside of the Cultipacker. So this will go through the center of the Cultipacker, and then we'll build off the bearings over here. So hopefully this build goes as planned, and hopefully it's not too bad, but we'll bring y'all along with us and see how it's done. This is my first time making something like this. I've just seen videos, so we're gonna see how easy it is, and I'm gonna give you my real thoughts about it, but hopefully it works good and hopefully it'll last many years once we get it done. So let's do it. Here's the concrete we're gonna be using to fill up the Cultipacker. It's a high strength concrete mix, just from Lowe's. They're 80-pound bags. Make sure you be careful about that, because they're not expensive. They're like $4 a bag, but I didn't really need all those if they're 80 pounds, but we have extra, I guess. And to actually add some weight and even make the concrete stronger, we're going to put this rebar in there too. I think it's 4 foot. The plan is to make the Cultipacker, to make it 5 foot. Hopefully it'll be around 300 pounds ish. Here is the culvert pipe we're using. I actually had to purchase this, and this is kind of where it can get expensive. Honestly, this is probably the most expensive part of the whole project. I went with a 12-inch because it would be a little less bulky and I wouldn't have a lot to deal with, and it was also cheaper. I actually bought this secondhand from a guy. I have 20 foot of it, so that means I can make about 4 of them if I made them all 5 foot, but I do have extra for whatever, and this is the double walled I'm using, so hopefully it works pretty well. And the only issue is it does have some little, let's see if we can see it here, like right here it has a little cut through it. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's for like water was going through it, because it is a culvert pipe, but I like the size of the gaps here. I think it'll be a really good size for what I need, and especially to get to where I'm going, it'll make it much easier. And that's also why I'm making it 5 foot instead of like 4, because it should add a little weight, because a lot of guys use 15-inch pipe instead of 12, but this is what I could find. And the pipe at the store is generally for a whole 20-foot piece, because you can't get anything smaller at Tractor Supply or Lowe's or anything. I think it was around $250 for a piece of pipe. I got this for about $100, so maybe just look on line stuff, Facebook, you know, just things like that, try to find some deals on it. That's what I did, and it seemed to work out, so hopefully once we get started here it all goes planned. But today on this video we're just going to be filling up the concrete in the pipe and centering up the shaft down the middle, so we'll see you then. Alrighty guys, so it's a little bit later now, as you can tell. The sun's starting to go down, but about an hour later, and this is what we got going on. So I'm using this little, I think it's actually just a gas tank holder we had laying around, but I put a piece of wood underneath it, and it gives each side of the metal the exact same length. That way it's even on both sides. You can see down in there, I got a piece of wood cut out in a circle. I just measured the pipe and then cut it out and got it to fit in there. And so now we are going to try to start filling this up and try to keep this top as even too. And yeah, so just make sure each side's even. Cut you a piece of wood out or something. You just want each side to be able to go through it. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is a 1-inch piece of steel rod. Just make sure either dig you a hole or get you something to set this pipe up on, so that way both ends of the rod going through are even. And then you also want it to be kind of centered. The bearings that we're getting are called pillow bearings, and they're meant to change with it, so it doesn't have to be exactly even, but it'll definitely help and make it look better. So let's start filling up some concrete. Last night we got her filled up with concrete, got the shaft in the center centered up as best we could, got it the same length on both sides, and then we can cut it if we need it to be shorter or whatever. Ended up taking about 5 bags of concrete, 80-pound bags, so it's about 400 pounds, give or take. Something I did a little different that I seen in a lot of the little DIY videos was, so I put rebar, 3 pieces of rebar, about 4 foot inside of this to help stiffen it up, and hopefully the concrete won't break up as it rolls and things, because it's liable to over time, so hopefully that helps. I'm pretty excited. None of the concrete came out of the little slits and the holes, so I think it's going to work pretty good. Hopefully the bearings we get in the next video work well. So here next week or so we're going to start back with this, and we're going to have our bearings and our other metal. We're going to start welding, and hopefully the bearings we get, the pillow bearings, will work well with this. So stay tuned and we'll see you next week.